see. There we go. Come on time for once. Maybe actually 30 seconds early. Who knows? But, my God, we've got a lot to talk about. But I will leave this for the 2 minutes to start off with, just to make sure people get in, and then we'll get the show on the road. But today's subjects are going to be the Southport Stabber and, of course, Hugh Edwards, the latest Jimmy Savile II, presenter, or maybe I was right the first time, to be charged with indecent stuff regarding children. But as I said, I will go more into that when we get more people in here, because obviously I want more and more people to understand this is the kind of shithole of a country that this is becoming. But I hope everyone is doing well at any rate, and I am much more adequately prepared this time. No fucking running in from outside, fucking panting and running out of breath and everything, and legs killing me. You know, none of that. Chris, nice to see you here. One thing that hasn't changed, though, I still need my fluids. And unfortunately, I have been walking under the influence of Lucozade. What about the people that came into chat last time, though, who were saying, I'm going to get arrested for talking bollocks? Total bullshit. Much better. Yeah, better than fizzy pop. Yeah, ironically, I don't actually like fizzy drinks. That's something about me. I don't like alcohol, except for like a select couple of drinks, like Bailey's on the rocks and what have you, and I've only ever had them like once in my entire life when I was in Las Vegas. But I've only ever had that as a drink once. I don't like alcohol, guys. I don't smoke. I don't do drugs. I don't drink fizzy. So you could say, in a sense, I'm as sober as a judge. But that's not why you called. So, shall we get this party started? So let's first and foremost start off with, I swear, maybe you don't mind. Nah, fair enough. Well, Tabby Velvet. Or Tabby Velvet. Can't even get the word out now. The Southport Stabber. By far the most important thing here, because obviously it relates to what happened with those poor children. And it turns out, unfortunately, if anybody's seen my recent post, that death count has gone up from 1 to 3 children, with 5 more in critical condition and fighting for their life, as well as 2 adults who are fighting for their lives as well. But the media won't go out of their way to basically say who it is. Love your channel on his Patreon. Well, hello there, Lizzie. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for the compliments. And hello, Johnny, as well. But they don't mention the name of the 17-year-old. Now, one thing I will say as well is that the police, by coincidence, have come out and said that the name circling around social media is wrong. So they're trying to imply now that a tweet from Channel 3 News has got it wrong. Now, don't just take my word for it. I want people looking at this right now. There is a link in the description below. That'll take you to Granny Optrix, aka Penny Rep's video. She literally has the tweet in her thumbnail and in the video itself. So don't just take my word for it. He's got it herself, the tweet in black and white, that apparently this person is named Ali Shakati. But here's the thing. The fact they were so quick to come out and say, oh, that name's wrong, that rings alarm bells to me. Now, it could be that maybe they're right for once. I don't know that. You see, this is what it means to have a bit of impartiality. I understand that it may be wrong, but more than likely must be correct. Must be covered in empty bowls. Oh, don't you worry, I'll make sure I tidy up that shit as soon as I'm done. I may not be the healthiest individual, but I assure you I keep a clean ship here. Or rather, clean house. But I digress. The main thing to take away from all this is that if this name really is true, Ali Shikati, then I say thank God somebody named them, quite frankly. That's what I say. Thank God they have been named and shamed. Because quite frankly, I think anybody who goes out of their way to commit the absolute most heinous, disgusting crimes, terrorism, murdering our kids, violating our kids, does not deserve anonymity, quite frankly. They do not deserve it. Like Southport, Ohio, Charlie Birch did a stream from there. I see. I have heard that they were saying about him being born in Cardiff, allegedly. But I'm more worried about the name of this guy because it's something the mainstream media do not want to tell us. Because at the end of the day, it will paint a very clear picture of exactly what kind of people we're dealing with. Does anybody remember the Ariana Grande concert where a bomber went in and killed a load of people, and they're actually targeting kids? And then, of course, the NPC Owen Jones came out and tried to say it was an attack on LGBTQ people. No, it wasn't. It was just a reprehensible attack, generally speaking. Random, 1st Jan. Oh, that's right, his parents. I did hear about this. His parents were actually on if I could get the words out, that's stroke number 1. They were Rwandans, and he's basically, as you say, a first or second generation child, basically. But whatever his background is, it doesn't change the fact that he has the same primitive 5th century death cult values of that of radical Islam. Anybody who goes out of their way to kill kids, as I said, does not deserve to be protected under law. In my humble opinion, all his human rights should be made forfeit. Just like that. Because did he care about the 3 children he stabbed? Oh, sorry, not the 3 people he stabbed, the 3 people he killed. And then the dozen or so other people that he stabbed with the knife. But we won't see the media say that because they're all a bunch of spineless NPCs who would rather not say who it is or where he comes from or what his background is or what colour of his... Well, to be fair, the skin colour shouldn't really have anything to do with it. It's more what is his background more than anything. I accept, as I've said before, I even made a point about black people being the predominant people who commit crimes in London with knives, black on black, ironically. But the media is not going to tell us a damn thing about this because at this point, they have gone full-blown balls to the wall. Basically, they don't give a shit if we find out if they're lying. It's a shame that 2 more kids died, and my prayers and thoughts, as always, are with the families of those victims. And, of course, to the people whose children or adults are fighting for their lives. But I think there's a protest that's apparently about to go down at 8 o'clock today, I believe, because people have genuinely had enough. And quite frankly, I don't blame them. But what did the police do? And hello, Paul and Chubbs. Hope you're both doing well. What did the police do? They labelled it a far-right protest. No, it's not a far-right protest. It is people who are fucking fed up of being fed the same bullshit narrative of, oh, he's got mental health issues. Oh, he's one of the people that are this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. It's nothing to do with mental health issues. And please bear this point in mind later, because it's going to relate to the other story too. But this has nothing at all to do with mental health. This subhuman scum decided to take it upon himself to go to this dance workshop that was centered around Taylor Swift and go and stab people. I may have a few screws loose in my head, but I tell you what, mental health is not making me go out and stab people. It's not making me do the things that Hugh Edwards has done, which, again, I'll get to that point later. Anybody can have a few screws list. Just try one minute. Oh, fair enough. But anyway, mental health has nothing to do with this attack. This is a death cult religion to which I am nearly certain this kid applies, even if he's not fully there yet, who is basically going out of his way to target the most defenseless people outside of babies that you can. Children. That, to me, makes him a subhuman piece of shit who doesn't deserve anonymity, and frankly, if it were down to me, the boy would be swinging, if you catch my drift. Because anybody like that is personally, in my opinion, an oxygen thief. Danny has arranged a demo tomorrow night at Downing Street, 7 p.m. As much as I'd love to come down there, I'm bound. I'd love to come down. I really would. I wish you all the best of luck, and know that my heart goes out with you, and I will support you all in spirit. Make sure you're not violent, you're not anything. Just be there, show disdain, but don't let it get out of control. Because everyone has a right to be angry at this, quite frankly. Hello, Ted. Everyone has a right to be angry at this, but we must keep it controlled. Because otherwise, if we go and fly off the rails, they'll have another excuse to ban protests. And I know what it's like to go off the fucking rails. I used to do it a shit ton in my teenage years. One of my houses I used to live in, back when my temper was at its absolute worst, I got so angry at times, I punched a fucking hole through my wall. Dead serious. While punching my computer as well. Like, I know what it's like to go completely off the fucking rails. And you know what it did for me? It bled my knuckles. It got me into a whole load of trouble with my parents. And of course I had to pay for a new computer. So, this is why you need to control yourselves when you go down to 10 Downing Street. I only wish I could join you, but I am bound by work. Because at the end of the day, if I had like, I don't know, 20, 30k, I'd be like, yeah, I can go to that. It's no big deal. But it's my situation. I don't even have a fraction of that, let me tell you. And I don't have to disclose that, but I'm just saying it right now. But it's because I don't have that much, I need to make sure I keep this job. Because if I don't have a house to live in, how am I supposed to do videos? How am I supposed to live? How am I supposed to do this, that, and the other? So that's the only reason I can't come. But yeah, Ali Shakati. And just another reminder to those who have just joined in, who have not seen the video in the description, I implore you to go into the link in the description below. That'll take you to Demi Rep's video, or Granny Optrix. She basically highlights Ali Shakati and the tweet that came out from Channel 3 News, basically saying, this is the person who did it. Scene star running away in Southport after laying flowers because people asked who kids were next. Oh, wow. Is that really true? Has he really run off after parents were quite rightly angry that their children were being attacked and whose were next? Christ. I don't know what to say. I shouldn't be surprised. So this was live when he did this. My God. Well, that just says it all, doesn't it? And all those NPCs who voted Labour, this is what the next 5 years are, folks. If they even last that long. But I've spoken enough about the stabber, Ali Shakati, being suppressed, the truth, by the mainstream media, who don't want to tell you this. You know the drill, folks, because say it with me, it doesn't suit the narrative. They won't tell you who he is because they know damn well the same fucking conclusions will be drawn up on the back of it. Just like they did in the stroke number 2, Ariana Grande concert. Now, for Hugh Edwards, because this man from the BBC served at the BBC for 40 years. He's been charged 3 counts of making indecent images of children. I'm going to repeat those charges, just so it sinks in. Hugh Edwards, with the BBC for 40 years, has been charged on 3 counts of making indecent images of kids. A real Jimmy Savile II right here. Am I surprised? No, not really. But if there are any long-time fans here, you may have noticed as well that I made a video specifically about Hugh Edwards a couple of years ago, I believe, nearer the lockdown period, where basically his wife came out and said he has mental health issues. Again, no. This has nothing at all to do with mental health. This is a scumbag who is making images of children. Not just being one of those people who decides to stroke one out at the mere thought of it. This is someone who's actually manufactured it. Yeah, he is responsible, 100%. How many more are there? I mean, this is all we know right now. And I think you are probably on the right lines of how many more are there is concerned. For all I know, 3 might be the baseline. There may be like 300 for all we know. Now, that is obviously speculation because I don't have that information. But what we do know is that he has now been categorically charged with this shit. And if it really is the case, they've got those 3 images in their evidence, he's dead to rights at this point. Figuratively speaking, of course. And I hope that this man gets sent to prison there, and hopefully there will be some justice dealt, is all I'll say on that. Because the thing is, regular criminals will not take kindly to people like Hugh Edwards or Jimmy Savile. And if they ever get a hold of him, God help him. Hugh Edwards is going to have a ginormous target on his back for the rest of his life. Because I don't think there are very many people at all that can say, we like files. There are not going to be many people that say that. And only the absolutely brain dead, the oxygen deprived brain dead. How will become Muslim because he gets protection yet? Yeah. I think what will happen is he'll probably get separated into like the prison full of nonces and what have you, more than anything. But if he ever goes to a main prison or like one of the base prisons, he has to convert, which of course then follows the other agenda of Islam keeps converting people and prisoners because it's either you convert or you die. It's as simple as that. And he'll get it in himself by 10 men. But then, are we really surprised about this? Opinion on Epstein. I haven't really looked into that, to be honest. Oh, hang on. I remember you. You're the guy who was talking shit. I know one of my mods timed you out, so I'm going to do one better and I'm going to take out the trash. Bye. Yes, that MP who was saying a lot of, I think he was also saying racist or anti-Semitic shit as well, if I recall correctly. I could be wrong on that though. But I'm taking out the trash. And that is NPC count number 1. Who's next? Anyone else want to step up to the plate? But anyway, the point is, Hugh Edwards is likely to end up getting charged. And well, he is charged. He's going to be likely found guilty on these 3 counts. And then he's going to find out just how quickly he's destroyed his life. As I said, though, because it's the BBC, I'm really not that surprised anymore. I've even covered other places where this has happened. I've not just covered Jimmy Savile. I've also covered the husband and wife couple who did their own radio talk show. Julie Wandsworth and can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head. The Wandsworths, basically, who ended up engaging in your activity with, I think it was a 16 or a 17-year-old or something. Run to the walls by myself to come out now. Yeah, it would have been nice if we can imagine that. We just go in and be like, here you go, fuck off. But no, sadly, that's probably not going to be the case. But anyway, the fact is, I've covered these things before, and I can't remember how long Julie Wandsworth and her husband went into prison for, but it seems to be a clear pattern these days with a lot of BBC people that you can be guilty of all these horrendous crimes, and yet the BBC won't basically take out the trash. Is it a coincidence, though? I think not. And I think we're seeing the death of the mainstream media right now. They are overreaching so much. Just like they were overreaching for Tommy Robinson. Apparently, if what is said is true, apparently Tommy Robinson's court hearing on the 29th of July actually voluntary, which if that's the case, then he didn't really need to attend, just so long as his representative was there. And as stated before, Tommy had a pre-planned holiday with his kids. Unless the government is now saying, well, you're not allowed to take kids on holiday, which would be extremely heartless. But then it's the Labour government, so can we really be surprised if that really was their malicious intentions? It's a shame that we've had a shitload of bad news over the weekend. It's a shame that we've had more children lose their lives. It's a shame that our media are more interested in protecting criminals than actually reporting the truth, which is their job. Their job is to report the facts without partiality and without bias. They will never do that because it's all state-driven. It's all establishment agendas and no fucking integrity, quite frankly. But hopefully, this is going to spur a lot of people into action. I mean, if that documentary that was already out in the US, the Silence documentary, if that thing being out in the US and Tommy releasing the video now does not light a fire under people's asses and tell them, you need to fight for your country, I think another situation with the Southport stabbings most definitely will. And I think it's only going to be a matter of time before parents and fathers and mothers just finally decide they've had enough. And I think, unfortunately, as I've said before, as much as I want this to be peaceful, I think we are going to ultimately end up with a violent revolution, which I don't want, I've never called for, I've never advocated, I condemn the people who do it, but I will completely understand why they feel like that's their only option at this point. Because Labour's not going to protect us, the police are not going to protect us, Islam protect us, they see us as the enemy. Like, the only people we've got right now are ourselves. We only have ourselves to look after ourselves. It's time to take out the trash and place it in the dustbin of history. Obviously doing this metaphorically speaking. Because unless we do this, they will continue. They can call in the army all they want. But at the end of the day, if it does go down to a violent revolution, I think a lot more of the army are going to serve the people than the politicians. I mean, it clearly showed when Boris Johnson was in power, so I think it stands to reason why it'd be the same for the Labour government. And I think the Labour government and the media, I kind of feel like I'm quoting somebody from that company of entertainment when I say this. You may think you want this, but you don't. Trust me, Keir the Tool Starmer and the police. You may think you want violent revolution, but you don't. Because it will damage you far more than it will damage the British people. It will damage your people way more than us. You didn't have to be there. There's only a private hearing. Tommy is Britain. Did you have a good day on Saturday in London? Like me, it was very hot. Oh yeah, I've got a fucking scorching crown. It's not as visible anymore. It was more visible in the other stream, but my head was fucking burning. I still feel a little bit of the burn, actually. But my head got scorched something fucking awful. But hey-ho, I'm all right. That's the main thing. Obviously, I'm built for comfort, not speed, and fitness and what have you. But I tell you what, like I said in the previous stream, I'm 19 stone of truth. That's what it comes down to. And as I said, going back to the point, the government may think they want this violent revolution, but as I said, it's going to hurt them far more than it will hurt us. Because it's one of those situations like you're putting your hand in the cage and somebody keeps telling you, you keep doing that, the lion's going to bite your hand off. And they keep doing it, and they keep doing it, and they keep doing it. And then when that lion does bite and rip your hand off, they'll sit there and be like, crying like, oh, it bit me, it fucking bit me. When in reality, this is just us saying, we've had enough. And the guy warned them, and he'll be like, I told you so. That's what it boils down to at the end of the day. The government's fucked, whether it gets what it wants or not. If they go about it the sensible way, which is peaceful resolution, they're going to get thrown out of office and reform are going in. If they go down the scorched earth route, as I'll call it, and get that violent revolution they want, it's going to, people are going to look back and they'll say, well, the government provoked them. The government forced their hand. The government made them go to this. London, what's happening on the 31st of August? Clue me in here. Oh, Wednesday the 31st of August. Will I actually be there? Oh, no. Sorry, you've got the wrong date there, I think. That's tomorrow, and it would be 31st of July. But if they go on the scorched earth route, it's just going to lead to blood on both sides, and they're still going to get their asses kicked, because there's far more of us than there are of them. Like I said, I'll never advocate for violent revolution, but I'll completely understand why people go down that route. And that's really what it comes down to. So Hugh Edwards, to summarise this one more time, Hugh Edwards, 3 counts of making indecent images of children. Hopefully, the bastard will be sent to jail. And then from there on out, whatever happens to him, he's only got himself to blame. And then we have the 17-year-old stabber named Ali Shikati by Channel 3 News in a tweet. The media are trying to say it's completely incorrect, that is not his name, as are the police. But I suspect they're doing this for damage control, as they always do. Whenever they get called out on a narrative, they always run straight to damage control. Because that's all they're good at. When they get exposed, they panic. I think this is exactly the same thing. They've realised, oh shit, they've actually identified the attacker. Oh God, what do we do? They can't do anything. The truth's out. And even if it's not out, the truth will come out. Truth always prevails. And I know there are going to be people on the left wing who will laugh at me. But here's the thing. It's like I said before. First they mock you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you. And the fourth point, most importantly, you win. Thank you all ever so much for watching. It's been a pleasure doing this as always. Stay safe everyone, and hope you all have a wonderful evening. and a good morning or good afternoon tomorrow, wherever you are. And obviously, if you're going down to protest, keep it civil. I know it's hard. I know it would have been very difficult for me 15 years back to control my temper, but we have to, because we have the high ground. We don't need to declare that. We just have it. Think Star Wars 3, Revenge of the Sith. At the end of the day, they won't beat us. You came out over on a boat. And on the MI6 watch list. Don't forget that one. But anyway, wish you all a good morning, afternoon, or evening wherever you are in the world. Thank you one last time for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye for now.